Hey, you guys. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome. If you're new here, you guys, we're going to be talking about David Eason. Sorry, the volume was up on my phone. We're going to be talking about David Eason, former Teen Mom Dad David Eason, once married to a fan favorite, Janelle Evans. Just kidding. She was not a fan favorite. Anyways, we're going to be talking about David Eason because he was due in court a couple of days ago. I didn't get to talk about it when they went to court, but we're talking about it now. Colby said, I read about this. Yes. Let me give you guys an update of what went down in court. Okay. So David Eason reached a temporary agreement with his ex, Kinley, amid so many, he's got so many legal battles going on right now. It is ridiculous how many legal battles he's got going on right now. This is Kinley right here. Boy, David literally screwed himself with this one because Kinley is a good girl. I like Kinley. She's super nice. She's got her head on straight. She's got her crap together. And she was going out of with custody of. Is my chair loud? I hear it, but I don't know if you guys hear it, but it's loud for me. I think I need a new chair. So Kinley like went out of her way to help them, get a job. She was really, trying to help David get up on his feet. And she was going to be there with him through his custody battle and these criminal charges he has against him. And then bam, he goes and he screws it up all over her dyeing her hair. Like what? And guess what? Now he's back in the boater home. Kenley has a nice like double wide or triple wide. I don't know which one it is, but it's really nice, new, like a new double wide, triple wide. They just built a nice porch on it. She's got nice vehicles. She's a nice person. And now he's back in the boater home. Goodness gracious. And they broke up a couple weeks ago. Apparently, she, goes and gets her hair did, and she comes home, and he is mad about it. He is mad, accuses her of cheating, will not tell her with who or how he come to this conclusion, and they get into it, and she kicks him out. But Kinley, being, still a nice person, apparently was like, you can stay in the shed with your things. Like, understanding, I guess, that he really didn't have anywhere else to go. So while she put him out of her house, she was like, she moved all his things into the shed because literally, like 2 months ago, David and Janelle, they had their split of their marital assets. The judge, like they came to an agreement. They went to mediation. They came to an agreement on who would get what. The judge signed off on it, and David was able to go get his belongings. And so it hadn't even been long. David moved his like shed onto Kinley's property. And a lot of his things, he finally was able to get back over, to Kinley's, which was at, now his place as well. And then he goes and acts a fool. Kinley moves everything that's in her house into his shed. And, he could stay in the shed, but he could stay in the house, whatever. But David could not handle that. David could not handle saying, you know what? Let's let everything cool off. Hey, Victoria, let's let everything cool off. And I'm going to get my act together and try to talk to Kinley and maybe we can work this out. No, he continued to act a fool and harass Kinley to the point where she had to go take out a temporary protective order against him. So she got this temporary protective order against him. And then they had court on October 6th. It was continued. And they had court again the other day where they figured out, was she going to go on to get a more permanent one or what was going to happen? So let me give you guys an update as to what happened. I got all my notes here. So former Teen Mom personality David Eason was back in court this week, appearing for a hearing tied to a restraining order that was filed by his ex-girlfriend Kinley earlier this month. According to court details confirmed by multiple outlets, the appearance followed a continuance of an earlier October 6th date while David and his attorney sought to contest the restraining order. So David wanted to fight the RO because he didn't need another one, in his file. Kinley initially filed for a protection order after what she described as verbal abuse and erratic behavior following her and David's breakup. In her original filing, she alleged that David would show up at her home in uninvited, call her names, and act manic after being told to leave her property. During the recent hearing, David stayed inside the courtroom while his attorney met with Kinley outside to discuss a possible resolution. Ultimately, both sides agreed that David would have 2 weeks to retrieve his belongings, including a large shed with items still at Kinley's home. A police escort will be required if David returns to the property himself. So if he decides to go to get his things, then he'll have to bring the police. If he sends somebody else, then maybe not. But if it's him, he has to have a police escort. Sources close to the situation have clarified that there was never a permanent restraining order, and they were not going to court, I guess, to see if there would be one. It was explained to me that the current arrangement falls under a temporary ex parte order, a short term protection that typically only lasts 2 weeks. So that's what she got on him. An order that literally only lasts like 2 weeks. Now she could have went on to get a more permanent order. However, she didn't want to do that, not because she's being easy on David, but because that would be more time and money out of her pocket. She would have to miss work again, pay for filings, get an attorney, so she was like, if David will agree to get his things within the next 2 weeks and leave me alone forever, I'm good. However, if he won't agree to do that, then I guess we'll have to move on to take further legal action to get a permanent order. Now, the source close to this situation also suggests that David may be particularly motivated to avoid having another restraining order on his record due to his upcoming custody case against Janelle for their daughter Inslee. Now, this obviously isn't confirmed. It's just, I'm speculating this. And other people speculate that that's the reason David came to this agreement. He did not want another RO on his record. He wanted to either have Kinley, forget about it or do whatever he needed to do so there would not be another RO on his record. David's custody case is expected to continue later this year, though reports indicate he may still need to complete a court order psychological evaluation before any visitation or custody arrangements can move forward. So that was something that Janelle requested. Janelle requested that before David could see Inslee or have any sort of visitation, that he have a psyche eval. And the judge agreed. The judge granted that request, and David has yet to have that psyche eval. Those familiar with the situation say that David's attorney appears kind of frustrated with the mounting legal issues surrounding his client. The attorney is reportedly representing David in multiple counties, and according to sources, seems eager to keep both parties out of the courtroom for future drama. So here's the thing. Think about this. You're representing this client. Think about David's attorney, right? You have this client who has a custody hearing coming up soon. He is trying to fight for custody of his daughter. And then, bam, he gets another RO on him from his girlfriend. His girlfriend breaks up with him, gets an RO. So I'm sure David's lawyer is like, oh my God, like, I'm trying to help you win this custody case. I'm trying to get you some sort of custody of your daughter. I'm trying to get you at least minimum visitation with your child. You're not helping me. So, it's speculated that his attorney is really is getting frustrated with how much David is getting in trouble and is trying to keep David out of court as much as possible until he goes to court for his custody. As for now, David remains living in his boat, the same one he received during his divorce from Janelle, while he is awaiting the scheduled property pickup from Kinley's residence. Now, Kinley, from what my sources told me, she has to be there. Like when they show up to get the things, like legally, she has to be there to get she can be there. She has to be there, whatever. So I'm assuming she will be there. It was also told to me. Why do I not have all my notes in there? Hold on. Let me go to the rest of my notes because it's missing some stuff. Are they in this phone or this one? I don't know. It's missing a lot of stuff. Can you guys still hear me? Right, Jessica? I agree. Okay, so yeah, sources clarified there was never a permanent restraining order, explaining that the current arrangement falls under a temporary ex parte order, a short term protection that typically lasts 2 weeks. The source told me there was never a permanent RO. It was an ex parte that usually lasts 2 weeks, and then you get an extension or it becomes a permanent for a year, the source said. Um, the source went on to say Kinley doesn't have time to fight it in court with him or his attorney. So the two agreed he would get his things within 2 weeks during the ex parte. If he does that, then Kinley will not have to fight for a longer RO. Um, Kinley did send word to David that she did not want to hear from David ever again. Those familiar with the situation say David's attorney appears increasingly frustrated with the mounting legal issues surrounding his client. The attorney is reportedly representing David in multiple counties, and according to sources, seems eager to keep both parties out of the courtroom for future drama. Hmm. Um, your sound is good. Good. And here is, let's see, just some of his
Good job.
that is now at Kinley's house. A four-wheeler, a dirt bike, his rake. I'm up and raking. Um, this was when they went to he and Janelle's property to get his junk, and allegedly he won like a dirt bike, a four-wheeler. I don't even know. I don't even remember what all he won in the divorce, but a lot of it was destroyed.
Cheers.
Standing.
Good job.
Like cables were cut from what was posted on social media. Like David shows up to get his things, and like cables to the dirt bike or four wheeler or something was cut. Yeah. So unfortunately, Janelle, I'm sure it was Janelle that did it. She never got in trouble for it because I guess proving that it was her is another story. But yeah, this is David after him and Kinley broke up.
I think it's pretty.
He went got him some face bling. Can I just say that looks cheap? I don't know.
I think it's pretty.
That looks like I don't know, like one of those like fake, like really cheap pieces of jewelry. I don't, man. I would not want to put that in my face. No way, no how. Now, a quick rundown. We all know David's past, but if you don't, let me give you a quick rundown. 2016 to 2017. All right, 2016, David first appeared on Teen Mom 2 when he began dating Janelle Evans. Fans quickly learned he had a criminal history, including multiple arrests, even from before he was on MTV. 2012, 2014, David was arrested for DV, driving while license was revoked, and violating a protective order related to his ex girlfriend. He also reportedly spent some time in jail for nearly 2 years on older charges before meeting Janelle. In 2017, him and Janelle got married. That same year, he was fired from MTV after making homophobic and transphobic comments online. In 2018, David pulled a GUN during a road rage incident while his children were in the car. Janelle called 911 claiming he had assaulted her, saying he pinned her to the ground. Janelle later walked back those claims, calling it a drunk misunderstanding. No charges were filed, but it deeply concerned about DV in their home. 2019, David shot and unalived Janelle's French bulldog Nugget, claiming that the dog had bit their daughter Inslee. This incident led to massive backlash and Janelle's firing from MTV. CPS removed their children from the home for several weeks while an investigation took place. No criminal charges were filed because authorities said there wasn't enough evidence to prove animal cruelty under North Carolina law at the time. 2020, David was arrested for assault with a deadly weapon and communicating threats after he allegedly pistol whipped Janelle's friend James Spivey during a heated conversation on David's property. He was booked into the Columbus County Jail and later released on bond. Janelle initially left him after the incident, but reconciled like 3 days later. 2021, David's assault charges were dismissed, reportedly due to insufficient evidence and uncooperative witnesses, which is wild because that was recorded. Not like you couldn't see David, but you could definitely hear him. You could hear David like, "Ain't nobody leaving here until I get my keys. Ain't nobody leaving here until I get my keys." And then like you can hear like the confrontation. So that's pretty wild. All right, let's see. September 2023, David was accused of child abuse after Janelle's teenage son Jace, age 14, then ran away multiple times and alleged that David had assaulted him. Jace was found saved and placed in, this says foster care, but it wasn't foster care. He was placed in the legal custody of his grandmother Barbara, but physical custody of a mental health facility. CPS and police opened an investigation into David for alleged CA, child abuse. Later, 2023, Janelle lost custody of Jace after authorities deemed her home unsafe. Reports claim Jace told police that David strangled him and hit him during the argument. David denied all the allegations and said the media was spinning lies. Early 2024, David was officially indicted for felony child abuse by strangulation and misdemeanor assault on a child under 12. He faces up to several years in prison if convicted. Janelle defended him publicly, saying the allegations were false and that people were trying to ruin their lives. Mid 2024, court records show the case was ongoing and with several continuances and pretrial hearings in Columbus County. Janelle often posts about her stress and unfair treatment by the system. What did I say? Untreatment by the system. Okay, I'm not drinking, I swear. As of now, October 2025, David's child abuse case is still active, but no conviction has been made public because they go to court, I think, January 2026. Is it January 2000? Yeah. So some local reports suggest he is out on bond awaiting a final trial or plea deal. I don't know where that's coming from. Well, he is out on bond and they are waiting for the trial, January 2026. He could potentially get a plea deal. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, this is literally, that's interesting. Okay. Anyway, so that's a rundown of David Eason. Was that one of the guys who went to prison for unaliving someone? No, not Dave. Wait, are you talking about David? He could do jail time, but it isn't very much. It isn't very much for some reason. In North Carolina, DV against a child is not like, I mean, the initial charge of misdemeanor child abuse is a misdemeanor and less than a year. And then they added the assault by strangulation, which is a felony charge, and that could get him, I want to say, like, what was it? Maybe 24, maybe? Right. It should be a felony, anything against a child. I agree. But yeah, either way, it's not a lot. I mean, so yeah, within the next 2 weeks, he and a police escort will have to show up at Kinley's house for him to collect his belongings, and he'll get all his things. And as long as he leaves Kinley alone, all will be well. If not, she could get a more permanent RO on him. He is currently living in the boat. He does go live, but his lives from the ones that I've been told about are like middle of the night. I'm like, I'm sleeping. I'm worried for Kinley. I think she may be spiraling. Why? Why do you think she's spiraling? I think she's doing okay. Um, I've talked to her several times. She's very nice. I haven't seen anything, but I don't like. She posted on her IG a few nights ago, her and her guy friend out partying. Oh, she's young though. That's how she met David, like at the bar. Like, she works, but like she is she likes to party. She's like 20 something. He was driving and appeared to have alcohol in his lap. Oh no, that's not good. Was it open? Like an open bottle, like in between his legs? Yeah, but that was kinda like her life beforehand was, I mean, she met David in the bar. Alright, so here is he had a clear glass bottle and he was clearly driving. Yeah, hopefully people are not drinking and driving. So Janelle posted this. Janelle posted this. Any idea why Ken put and restraining order on your loser ex? Girl, you are so much now. And Janelle just posted like a copy of the defendant has attempted to cause or has intentionally caused me bodily injury or has placed me or a member of my family or household in fear or imminent bodily injury or in fear of continued harassment that rises to such a level as to inflict substantial emotional distress or has committed a sexual offense in against me in that give specific dates and describe in detail what happened. So that's what it asked. And then it says, 9/4/25, police were called to my house. He was verbally abusive, cussing at me, calling me a dumb whore, and doing burnouts on his bike on my street, acting very manic, banging on my door nightly, coming in my room, ungodly hours. So yeah, that was just a little snippet of the RO that Janelle literally must have went to the courthouse herself to get a copy of this because how else would she have gotten a copy? Some people think that David and Janelle are back talking. I don't believe that. I don't think that they are. That's just my opinion though. So some people was like, "Oh, she got a copy of it because her and David are talking again." I don't believe that. I think she drove to the courthouse and got a copy for her custody case. That's what I think she did. But anyways, you guys, so yeah, David Eason, custody court coming up, his trial for his charges regarding what he did to Jace coming up. So he could not afford to have another RO against him. So when it came to him and Kinley going head to head in court, his lawyer was like, listen, when speaking to Kinley, listen, like, how can we settle this to where he doesn't have another RO on his file? And Kinley was like, listen, if he gets his things and leaves me the heck alone, I'm good. Oh, well, Colby, as far as the Harrow case, the only thing that I know is the dad pled guilty and he will be sentenced November 3rd, I think it is. But I haven't heard anything as far as like a confession in regards to where the baby is. I thought about doing a live and just giving like that update, but there's nothing else. He just pled guilty. He just pled guilty. So yeah. As soon as, like, maybe a little bit more comes out, I'll do, like, an update, but anyways, you guys, definitely such a sad case. I'm gonna go ahead and hop off. We will be live in 2 hours. Yeah, in 2 hours over on TikTok to watch Sister Wives, this week's episode of Sister Wives. So if you don't have a place to watch Sister Wives, go follow me over on TikTok and you can watch it live with me on TikTok. Also, tomorrow we're going to be watching Seeking Sister Wife on TikTok. And then listen, Love is Blind. Love is Blind. Oh my gosh, Love is Blind. Have any idea the 911 call on the 4th that Janelle was talking about? That would have been Kinley's. Where did you see a 911 call on the 4th? Are you talking about right here? This paper? Are you talking about that? That's when everything happened with Kenley. So that's Kenley's handwriting right there. Janelle went to the courthouse. Well, Kenley wrote the date right here, 9/4/25. Police were called to my house. He was verbally abusive. Um, so that's when it happened. That's the date that she wrote on the statement. And I'm assuming because I know she was like, David, let me see if it's still up on X. What day she tweeted that. She may have deleted it already. I don't know. Yeah, like earlier today, she was just eating dinner. Yesterday, she went a little blonder, got her hair done a little bit blonder. Let me go back to the 4th. Let me see when she posted about their breakup. On the 3rd. On the 3rd, she wrote, "New hair, who dis?" And on the 4th was when she was saying, "Honestly, have your ex-husband back. I tried. David said I cheated on him, but won't show or tell me what I did. So all his shit that was in my house is now in the shed." So that was on the 4th. So all that happened on the 4th. No, it was the 4th. Yeah. All right, you guys, that's what it is. David Eason, boy, you better stay out of trouble. Kinley did you a favor by agreeing, and not going forward to get a more permanent RO that will be on your record. So when you do go to try to get some sort of visitation or child support court, when you go to not child support court, when you go to child custody court, not having an additional RO against you. She did you a favor, so leave her alone. I'll see you guys over on TikTok later. Thank you. She must have called the dude. Probably so, Victoria. Yeah. Um, guys don't mind. And I'll see you guys tonight over on TikTok. Bye.